After a decade of marriage, my wife looked me in the eye and said, "You will never be her actual father, so quit acting like one." I stayed silent. The following morning, I heard them both giggling in the kitchen. Her and my stepdaughter. I quietly packed my things, put the house on the market, and left a short note. "You're right. I'm not her real father, and you two are not my real family. 10 years of a man's life wiped out by one sentence. 10 years of making school lunches, checking homework, attending every parent-teacher meeting, teaching a little girl how to balance on two wheels. Gone in an instant. It all ended last Tuesday. Karen and I had a small argument about Ashley, our 17-year-old. She wanted to spend an entire weekend at a party 3 hours away. I said no. It was a school night. I didn't know the family hosting, nothing unusual for a father. Karen disagreed strongly. We were standing in the kitchen. I had completely renovated myself 3 years earlier. She folded her arms, gave me that icy stare I had seen more and more lately, and let the words drop like stones. "You'll never be her real dad. Stop pretending." I didn't answer. I didn't raise my voice. Something inside me simply switched off. The part that kept trying, the part that loved, the part that believed we were a family. It all went dark. I had met Karen when Ashley was 7. Her biological father had disappeared when she was barely walking. For 10 solid years, I was the only dad she had ever known. I wasn't pretending. I was simply being a father. I turned, walked out to my garage workshop, and spent hours sorting nails, wiping down tools, letting the truth settle. Karen never came to check on me. When I finally went inside, she was already asleep. I took the couch. Early the next morning, I woke to the sound of laughter coming from the kitchen. Not soft chuckles, loud, sharp, mocking laughter. I crept closer and listened. "I can't believe you finally told him to his face," Ashley said, practically squealing with delight. "Mom, the look he had, priceless." "Well, it's the truth," Karen answered, and they both burst out laughing again. He needed to hear it. All his rules, his lectures, acting like he has any authority. He's just the guy who pays for everything. That was the moment the coffin closed. It wasn't only Karen. It was both of them. 10 years of my time, my money, my heart, reduced to a running joke and an open wallet. That I walked back to the living room feeling strangely calm. The anger was gone. I was simply finished. That I went upstairs, pulled 2 old army duffels from the closet, and started filling them. My clothes, my toiletries, the framed photos of my own parents. I left everything else. I left the pictures from Ashley's first dance recital. Left the world's best bonus dad mug she gave me one Father's Day. Those things felt poison now. While packing, I called a realtor I knew, Tom. Told him I needed the house listed immediately and sold fast. He was surprised but said he could have paperwork ready that afternoon and a sign in the yard by sunrise. Perfect. The house was solely in my name. I had bought it and paid down half the mortgage long before I ever met Karen. My attorney had insisted on a prenup she once called insulting, but signed anyway. She was about to learn why that document mattered. I carried the bags downstairs. The house was empty. They had already left for work and school. I found a notepad, wrote 7 words, and placed the note exactly where they had laughed about me an hour earlier. "You're right, I'm not her real dad, and you're not my real family." I walked out, locked the door behind me, and never looked back. I drove to the little office I rented for my contracting company and sat in the parking lot for a long while. Then I got busy, called my lawyer, told him it was happening. He said, "Good. About damn time." I opened a new private bank account and rerouted my paycheck. Moved every dollar I had earned before the marriage into it. Left the joint account with exactly 1 month of bill money. After that, she was on her own. That afternoon I met Tom and signed the listing agreement. He promised the sign would be hammered into the lawn before anyone woke up the next day. For the first time in 10 years, I felt light. The first texts came around right after Ashley got home from school. A photo of my note with, "What the hell is this?" I didn't reply, and an hour later Karen blew up my phone. 7 voicemails in a row. Anger, confusion, bargaining, panic that I let them all go unanswered. The next morning at 7 a.m. sharp, the screaming started. "There is a for sale sign in our yard, John. What have you done?" I picked up, voice completely level. "It's not our yard, Karen. It's my yard. And I'm selling my house. You can't do this. We live here. This is our home." "No, it's my home. You were just staying in it. You have 30 to 60 days, depending on how fast it closes. Start looking." She threatened lawyers, lawsuits, everything under the sun. I told her to have her attorney read the prenup, specifically the part about separate property, and hung up. Blocked her number. Blocked Ashley's number. Her mother Eileen called that afternoon and unloaded the heartless monster abandoning his family routine. I corrected her. "I don't have a family there anymore, Eileen. I have a woman and a teenager who laughed about me being an ATM. I'm done bankrolling the joke." A few days later, a thick, official-looking email arrived from Karen's new lawyer, demanding I pull the house off the market, restore her access to accounts, pay her legal fees, compensate for emotional damage. Pure fantasy. My attorney fired back a 2-page response with the prenup highlighted in yellow and a single closing line. Further attempts to claim my client's separate property will be met with sanctions. The threats stopped cold. The house sold in 8 days, cash offer $20,000 over asking. Closing set for 45 days out. Then Ashley slid into my DMs. No apology, just a bullet point list. "You owe me the college fund you promised. Keep paying my car note. My phone is on your plan. Don't you dare remove me." Stared at the screen, almost impressed by the audacity. I wrote back one line. "Ashley, I am not your real dad. Talk to your mother about money. That's what real families do." She responded with a paragraph of insults. I screenshotted it, sent it to Karen with the caption, "Proud of your parenting," then blocked her everywhere. Through a mutual friend, I heard Karen was frantically apartment hunting while still touring places way above her new budget. Reality was finally knocking. The day of closing, I signed in my lawyer's office. Money wired, fees paid, and a check cut to Karen for her exact legal share of marital assets. Decent money, enough for a small condo down payment or a couple years' rent, but not the jackpot she expected. Divorce papers went out with the check by courier. I never had to see her again. That night in my new bare apartment, mattress on the floor, a couple of boxes. My phone rang from an unknown number. It was Karen, voice small and broken. "I got the check. Is this really it, John? 10 years over one stupid fight." "It wasn't one fight, Karen. It was 10 years of you believing that, plus the morning you both laughed about it. The marriage didn't end that day. It just became honest." She cried. Talked about tiny apartments and Ashley having to go to community college. "You ruined our lives. No, you ruined your own safety net. Goodbye." Blocked the new number. A month later, a rough male voice asked if I was John. "This is Rick, Ashley's biological father." Karen tracked me down, told me some wild stories. I want to hear what actually happened. I agreed to meet, public place, my friend Mark watching from the next booth. Rick was a long-haul trucker, weathered but straight-eyed. Karen had painted me as an abusive tyrant who threw them into the street. Rick did his own homework first, asked around town, heard I was solid. I laid everything out, showed him the texts. He shook his head the whole time. I was a piece of crap dad, he said. I own that, but I never pretended to be anything else. What they did to you after you raised my kid for a decade, that's low. He had no interest in getting back with Karen. He just wanted to meet Ashley, maybe set her straight. A week later he called again. Said Ashley screamed at him too, called him a deadbeat and a fake dad, told him to get lost. Same script, new target. Karen's final play was trying to torpedo my business. She left a hysterical voicemail with my biggest client claiming I was unstable and mid-divorce meltdown. My client Diana called me herself, laughing almost. I've heard bitter ex-wives before, John. Keep building. We're good. Last I heard, Karen and Ashley share a cramped two-bedroom across town. Karen picked up night shifts waitressing. Ashley flips burgers to save for community college. Rick wires her small checks with a post-it that reads, "This is what happens when you burn good people." I ran into Karen once at the supermarket with the new boyfriend. She looked older. Our eyes met. She opened her mouth like she might speak. I gave a polite nod and pushed my cart the other way. Felt nothing. 6 months later, the new boyfriend, Dave, called my office, desperate for 5 minutes and a beer. Same story, different chapter. Met Karen on an app, heard the evil ex-husband's sob story, started bankrolling her lifestyle, discovered credit cards opened in his name, maxed out. He had talked to Sarah, learned the truth, wanted confirmation he wasn't crazy, that I told him exactly who she is. Told him the only way out is to cut the money and brace for war. He thanked me like a drowning man handed a rope. A few months after that, Ashley texted from a new number. Long message. First time she ever came close to an apology. Said watching her mom run the same game on Dave, plus some hard talks with Rick, finally broke through. I was awful to you. You didn't deserve it. I'm sorry. I thought about the little 7-year-old who used to run to the door when I came home from work. I wrote back, I appreciate hearing that, Ashley. I wish you the very best. That was enough. I sold the company last year, retired early, bought a small farmhouse on 5 acres with a pond. My old dog still chases squirrels. I fish, I work in the woodshop, I drink coffee on the porch and listen to nothing but wind in the trees. The background noise of a decade. Walking on eggshells, proving my worth, begging for basic respect, is finally gone. Silence never sounded so good. Some nights I pour a whiskey, sit on the porch and smile at how peaceful life can be when you stop setting yourself on fire to keep others warm. That, I learned, is the only project truly worth finishing.